Hello and welcome back. I'm Nicole, a cottage witch, and today I'm doing a sort of roundup of things I got, experienced, whatever, in Iceland. So I was there last week and it's magnificent, and I came home with some treasures, and if I remember and have the energy, because I think I got a bit of a cold on the plane, I will insert some photos so you can see it. But one of the things I got, because you know, gotta love a gift shop, was this Flora Iceland's Iceland's, I assume, means Iceland's flora. This bag was all over the place, and they've got apparently a very famous book about Icelandic flora, which I would totally buy if I lived there or was ever going back, but I did not. Instead, I got this deck of cards and some flora. So this was from a town that we stayed in. There's some eyebright, which I'd never seen before, clover, and yarrow, which you can find in Canada as well. And sanitized everything and attached it to this card here, pressed them and whatnot. And then this, I think, is based on that Flora Iceland's Flora book. I think it seems to have the same design by this watercolor painter, John Balder Hlithberg. You're gonna have to excuse any and all Icelandic pronunciation errors. It's a fascinating language and I suck at it, so that's what we're dealing with. It's a really beautiful little deck of cards though. It's just playing cards. I don't think when they designed the playing cards there was any like matching of correspondences between flower and suit and number and whatnot, but they have dandelions there, which was lovely. I found a lot of these plants. Cotton grass, there was definitely a lot of that there. I didn't see any poppies, but I feel like it was probably past flowering season when we were there. I did see that, I think. Sea plantain, definitely saw it. I was thrilled, excuse me, the first time I saw sea plantain, because it actually, the leaves don't look anything like broadleaf plantain, but these little stalks with the seeds, I can't remember the botanical word for that. Anyway, they look the same. And I was like, I bet that's plantain. And it was so exciting because I am a geek, as we've established, if you've been here for any length of time longer than about 2 minutes. Another poppy. What else? Some of these I didn't see. I mean, it was fairly late in August, so some of the flowering was done already. Didn't see the dog rose, did see a different kind of rose though, but I'll have to look up if it's native to Iceland. Common toadflax, oyster plant. See, some of these I'd never seen before. Didn't see any heather, I don't think, but it might have been done flowering. Did see plenty of club moss and various other mosses and ferns, and it was very exciting. Yeah, it was really fun to go around. I went with my family, and bilberries, found these on the first day. They're all over the place. And red clover as well. And then I kept getting distracted on hikes by plants, and they were not in any way surprised by this. There's the yarrow. There was some pink yarrow there, which was lovely. The plants that I took, and any rocks I took and whatnot, I should say, were just from like in town along alleyways and parking lots and whatnot. So I'm not taking anything out of, you know, protected areas or anything like that. So that is, oops, the deck of playing cards. I'm not sure why there are 3 of these little things that seem to mostly just get in the way. So I might take a couple of them out, but anyway, there's that. And then I did take a couple little sprigs of crowberry, because it is everywhere. Is it gonna focus? Probably not. Oh, there we go. It's an adorable plant. Ooh, and I got some crowberry jam, which I ate before we got on the plane because, you know, planes. And it was really quite good. It's very like blueberries. I brought home some lichen on a stick of a rose bush. A little bit of moss. These I have to stick in the freezer. They were just, excuse me, drying out. Same with the mussel shell that was empty when I got it. And then I found a bit of wool on the first day because we were staying on a sheep farm, and it was just like stuck to a bit of grass or something. And then I found white rowan berries, which I'd never seen before. We have red rowan berries in Canada, but they're not native, but you know, they're here. And then a little bilberry that has dried out. The rowan berries are still in the process of drying out. I have sanitized all the rocks, and then the plant material will go in the freezer for a couple of weeks, just in case of bugs. Oh, and then also on the first day I found a hagstone. It didn't have this tie in it. I added the tie, but that was exciting. There are a few other of these that have been polished by the water. They have such a funny combination of really sharp, jagged landscapes and then perfectly smooth rocks that have either been polished by the water or are covered in moss. Honestly, I've never seen so much moss in my life, even in BC. So much moss of so many kinds. It's amazing. On that note, I did also buy a package of Icelandic moss. They used to eat it. I don't know if people still do. But it's been used in teas, drinks, porridges, and breads, apparently. And so I'm going to try it first, probably in tea, just to see what it tastes like by itself. And then I might mix it up with some oatmeal or something. I don't know. We'll see. To be determined. And then I also got these teas, related, but tangent. So this is thyme and moss, and I think that's it. Yep. And then this is just Arctic thyme, which I may take out of the tea bags and just use as thyme, because I didn't want to pick thyme from anywhere. The first place we went, I probably could have, because there was a lot and it was not a protected area or anything. It was just a farm, but I didn't want to because I didn't know anything about it or how abundant it was at that point. And you know, you don't want to screw up the environment when you don't know much about it. The other food things I got were blueberry sea salt and black lava sea salt. So this has, I think, activated charcoal and crowberry sap. I don't know what the sap tastes like. And then this has blueberries. And so that'll be fun. Apparently, what did people use this on? Oh, porridge. May try that too. I may be having some porridge adventures. That's a strange combination of words. But anyway, there we are. They have these candies as well. I got the blueberry Arctic thyme, which is delicious, and the angelica and black currant, which is strange. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it, but anyway, might take those to work and see if other people like them. We also passed so there was a volcano that erupted earlier this year, like in March and April, in one of the areas we went around the Blue Lagoon, which was closed, and the town next to it was closed for a while. And when we went last week, it was reopened and everything. Well, most of the town was reopened. Some of the stores and restaurants were still temporarily closed. But we did go to a cafe there, which was really good and had lamb soup. They have a lot of lamb and fish dishes, which are delicious. And it was a stunning location. But the town is living in a state of sort of terror and uncertainty at the moment, because the volcano that hadn't erupted for 700 years has now erupted 3 times since, I think, 2020 or 2021. Anyway, it's making their lives a bit precarious. So they built these giant berms of old lava rocks around the town to try and redirect future lava, because it will happen again, presumably. And they've evacuated the town 2 or 3 times now in the last few years. And it's a bit terrifying. They had some pictures of the 2024 eruption. They didn't have any up of the 2025 one, I assume, because it's too recent and they just haven't had time and, you know, priorities. But there was a lava field there of the new lava that you can't walk on, because it's not, like, we went to a lava show, and lava is weird, and it's a good insulator apparently. So if you have a really big field of lava, the surface may look perfectly cool and be perfectly cool to the touch, but if you walk on it and break through it, there can still be lava inside, and then you get set on fire, which sounds horribly unpleasant. So don't do that. They had warning signs about that everywhere. But these are rocks from that new lava that had been, like, bulldozed off the road into a parking area that they'd made because people were curious and wanted to come and see these, you know, like, as far as I know, the world's newest lava fields. And it really does look like you're on another planet there. It's bananas. This is obviously a much older stone that's been polished by the sea. Same with these ones that are a bit, somehow some of them get a bit redder. I assume that's the chemical makeup of the stones. These were from like parking lots and driveways and things of places we were staying. And a lot of the old, like hundreds of years old, or thousands in some case, lava fields are covered in moss, and it's gorgeous. They do have some of these other kinds of weird, wonky, sharp rocks all over the place, and then a bunch of smoothed out ones. This is like an impossibly smooth stone. I don't even know what it is, but it is. It's like it's been polished, but it was in a parking lot. And then same with this. This is, I don't know what this is. They have very few white stones there, or they seem to me. We didn't obviously go everywhere. We just went to the west and the south. And then this doesn't look particularly like a stone, but I'm not really sure what it is. It was found on a beach. And it looks cool. And it has been sanitized because, you know, same with the shell. It's broken here. I assume a seagull was involved in that at some point because they are everywhere. Okay. Then, gift shops are a riot, and you can't really avoid, I mean, you can't avoid them if you're so inclined, but, and we did eventually because they all start to look the same after a while. I did get this Pertho necklace. And this, I can't remember what this, to protect you against bad weather sigil is called in Icelandic. I should maybe write the name on the back or something. But somebody drew this. There was a bunch of their artwork in one of the, sometimes you get gift shops where it's not an official visitor center gift shop, but it's more like an local arts and crafts type shop, and those were the most fun. Because everything in the official gift shop starts to look the same after a while, because it all is the same. This is by another artist, who is the artist on this, illustrated by Elise Avis. I don't know. Did see icebergs there, only from the plane, because we weren't on the north side. We probably would have seen more there, but yeah, that's beautiful. This is a design that is on everything. You can get all sorts of products with a design by Emma Ball, and the sheep are hilarious. So she's actually a British artist, but this was too cute, and there are sheep everywhere. Although apparently most were in the Highlands when we were there, but they were still all over the place, and they have the right of way. So if you're driving along the highway and there's a sheep, you stop for the sheep. It's like elk and deer and whatnot in Banff. And these were just too impossibly cute to not get. And then I did go to a yarn shop and got this sheep. It's Handverk Kata, Floka Canon.is. These were in a few different places. So it says it's handmade and everything, but they must have a way to produce a lot in a short amount of time, because they seem to be quite popular. Like, look at that. That is adorable. Adorable. And then, of course, I got some yarn because I haven't done a lot of crocheting lately, or weaving, but I've done a little bit. Starting to get slowly back into it. So they had some that was dyed in the UK. I assume because it's easier in Iceland to get UK dyed yarn than like from North America or elsewhere. But I was looking specifically for Icelandic yarn since, you know, that's where I was. So I got these two. Dottir is one of the companies, and what's this? The sticker's over part of it. Can't say that, sorry. Vetsnes yarn. Apologies, I tried. And I needed some more neutral colors, so that's what these are. And then, ooh, chocolate. There's a lot of chocolate that I got because, of course I did. I started doodling and sticking things in. There's a company, this is probably the most famous chocolate company, well, one of them. There are a few, but they have the best packaging, because this is what their boxes look like for their chocolate bars, and then they're wrapped in, holding that thought, this sort of design of the, oh, I don't know what animal that is. Anyway, it's very good. And so I've started losing stuff here, using this as sort of a sketchbook and scrapbook. These were the cliffs that we saw. This was our first tourist stop on the way from the airport to the Airbnb when we went to this Snæfellsnes Peninsula on the west side. We stayed somewhere up here-ish, and these are the cliffs down here, and they were very cool. And creeping thyme was everywhere, which is why I got some. And then crowberry was also everywhere. And yeah, this chocolate was everywhere. There are a few Icelandic companies. I've eaten most of them, I'm sorry to say. This was the Airbnb where we stayed the first two nights when we were exploring the peninsula. And so yeah, I've pulled out some pages from just the visitor's guide that you get everywhere in Iceland for the maps and some of the places that we went. This is a sticker that's actually the entrance to Eric the Red's home museum tour thing. There's a really good guide. She's a storyteller. You just sit down inside his home of Leif Erikson and his father. And she tells you their saga of Eric the Red, the sort of Finland sagas, how the house was built, how people lived back then. It was and she was a fantastic storyteller. It was very interesting. So I'm sort of using some of these odds and ends on the back pages because this sketchbook is not entirely sure. The pages are too thin and I don't want to draw on the back, so it's becoming sketchbook plus scrapbook is the plan for that. Ooh, and I got a newspaper. This seems to be the main newspaper, or one of them anyway. I'll have to do some Google translating to make sure it doesn't have anything too bonkers before I start using it in collages. Okay, and then books. So I got a book by Lilja Sigurdardóttir. I think it was the fourth one in this series, which I don't have at the moment because my mom has it. But it was really interesting, and I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it enough to keep reading the series. And also, I just really love Icelandic mysteries. So this is the first one. I'm maybe a quarter of the way through, maybe a fifth, something like that. I like you. As soon as you get to Iceland, you realize why their crime fiction is so atmospheric and just has a certain feel, because the landscape has a certain feel. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's very foggy. It is very atmospheric there. So I got the first two. Oh yeah, this is the bookstore there. This Pennin Edmundson is like their sort of Chapters Indigo or Borders or those types of like chain bookstores all around the country. And then I got Your Sister Gerda Daughters in this I don't think it's called The Undesirable in English, but I can't remember what the name is in English. Oh yeah, my mom got me this bookmark. How cute is this? This was from one of the artist people. It's so cute. And I love this. This author is probably my favorite Icelandic author of the, I don't know, 4 or 5 that I've read now. I think 5. And I don't give all of her books 5 stars. Most of them probably are 4 stars. But this one I'd given 5 stars, but I read it long enough ago now that I can't remember what it was about. So I got it to practice my French. And I'm super slow, so I'm on all of page 15. Awesome. And then this author I hadn't read before, so I got this book at the airport. Eva Bjorg Aegisdóttir or something. Ragnar Jonasson is another Icelandic author I've read and really enjoyed. And this book was fantastic. She may be my second favorite Icelandic author now. It was really good. Also, they really do have lighthouses everywhere. We did not go to Akranes, where this is set, though we did drive past it, but we didn't stop there. But it is really cool now to read these books and have an idea of where everything is. And when they talk about being on this peninsula and seeing the Reykjanes Peninsula in the distance, like all shadowy, I know what that looks like now because we were on the Reykjanes Peninsula and saw the Snæfellsnes, is that how you say it, peninsula, across the ocean. Like, it's fascinating. It's super fun to be able to have a sort of even just passing familiarity with the places they talk about in these books now. And also, this is a really good story. It had me, I think I gave it like 4.5 stars or something. I've ordered the next couple. But I ordered them secondhand because books are expensive these days. And yeah, so I might have to wait a month to get them, but oh well. So that is my Iceland trip, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I'm glad to be home, but it was a lot of fun, and I have another couple days off before I have to go back to work, so I will be reading some of these books and doing some more sketching, and probably very little else for the next couple of days. Anyway, I think that's all I've got today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.